Hey y'all, I'm Kat. I'm a coach and co-owner at Session in Brooklyn. This is Good Moves with Well+Good. I'm gonna take you through a quick lower body HIIT. All you're gonna need is a moderate dumbbell. You can also use whatever household item you might have, or even take all of these movements body weights. We're gonna go through 2 circuits of 3 exercises in each one. We're gonna go through that 3 times through, but first I'm gonna take you through a warm-up. We're gonna start with jumping jacks, just starting light on the balls of the feet, hopping out and in with the arms to follow. If you're not hopping today, just take it to a step touch. Get that full body moving, get the blood flowing. Great, from here, give yourself some space. We're gonna go into hamstring scoops, getting the backs of our legs, 1 foot forward, bend into your back knee, and then the arms sweep down and up. We just step to switch sides. Can let the toes face up towards the ceiling so you'll feel that stretch go from the calves through to the hamstrings. You can add a little jog in between if that feels good. Aim to get 3 to 5 reps per side. We got some hinging today, so we just wanna make sure we get the backs of the legs nice and warmed up. Great, we'll take 1 more on each. All right, and then we're gonna take a reverse lunge to Y raise. So give yourself some space behind you. We step back for that reverse lunge, dropping into both knees. Those arms pull up to a Y, thumbs face behind you, and then up to stand. Then you just switch. Just integrating a little bit of core stability, getting the upper body nice and warmed up. Even though we're focused on lower body, upper body is gonna be supporting you through your movements today. Again, try to get 3 to 5 reps per side. All right, and last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take good morning. So another hip hinge, feet are hip width distance apart, so just right underneath your shoulders. Place your hands just on the back of your head, and then make sure we're not shrugging up in the shoulders. So roll your shoulder blades down, push the hips back, and then we come up to stand. Think about lengthening in the hamstrings as you hinge. You can have a light bend in the knees, and then stamp through the heels to come up to stand, engaging your glutes, engaging your core at the top, so we're not getting this one in the low back. Taking 8 to 10 reps here. One more. All right, and shake it out. Let's get started. So for your workout today, you can use a moderate weight dumbbell. You can also use any household item you might have, or even take all of our movements body weight. We're gonna be working for 40 seconds, resting for 10 seconds in between each movement, going 3 times through. Let's get started with our first one. We have a seesaw lunge. We're gonna use that dumbbell, racking it just onto one side, one shoulder, and give yourself space to move in between 2 lunges. Whatever side that weight is racked on, you're gonna step forward for that lunge, 2 90-degree angles with both knees, step back, that foot can just tap the floor, and then we step all the way back for our reverse lunge. We'll stay on this side for half the time. Great, 1 more reverse lunge. And then we go ahead and switch the side that the bell is on, and we switch the leg that's stepping forward and stepping back. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can also try to find your stability first before stepping back. So instead of tapping the toe in between, wherever you're at today, take that variation here for 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna take it to a bear squat into a plank. So you don't need the dumbbell, just pop it off to the side. We set up in a high plank. And then we're gonna shift the hips back, keeping the back parallel to the floor, bending into the knees like a squat, and then push yourself up back into that high plank. Think 2 to 3 seconds to bring yourself back. Feel the quads, the glutes fire up, and then spring yourself forward. Taking your time on this one as you load up and push back into your plank. You can always take that back, drop the knees if you like a little bit more support, and then lift the knees back into your plank. Integrating the breath here as you bring it back. Exhale as you push yourself forward. For 3, 2, and 1. Last one, we're gonna flip onto our backs. We have a glute bridge into a hamstring bridge. So we'll alternate between the 2. Starting with your glute bridge, just make sure your fingertips should just barely graze your heels. Then we push to the heels, send the hips up, lower the hips down in one piece. Then we step out into our hamstring bridge. Think about 6 to 8 inches forward, bridge the hips up, and then back. So you'll feel this both in the glutes, both in the hamstrings with each rep. You can have your palms down for a little bit more support, your elbows into the floor, or your arms can be straight up if you like a little bit more of a challenge. And just trying to step both feet in and forward at the same time. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, those are our 3. Let's get started. Back to the top. We'll take that weight or that dumbbell or household item, whatever you're using, rack it at the shoulder, and we're back to that first side. So lots of single leg stability with this one. Think about keeping your core active, and we're pushing from that foot that is staying planted and trying not to rock forward and back with each rep. Let's go ahead and switch sides. And I like to keep my opposite arm out to really help me with that counterbalance. For 3, 2, and 1. Back into our bear squat to the plank. Set your weight aside. Setting up with your hands under your shoulders. And we push the hips back, pause at the bottom. Up in 1. Count that tempo out to yourself, nice and slow. Then up in 1. You really start to feel the quads and the glutes working every time we push back into that bear squat. Remember, your core is working with you for that nice strong plank as well. For 3, 2, and 1. Flipping over on our backs, we got our bridge sequence. Remember those arm variations I gave you, palms down, elbows down, or arms can be right up over the chest. Also integrating breath with your movements. Use the exhale as you bring the hips up. Think about engaging the backs of your legs at the top. And if alternating is not working for you today, you can always just stick to a glute bridge or a hamstring bridge. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, y'all, we're back to the top. We got one more time through. Check it out, whatever you need in between. And then we get our equipment ready. We're back into our lunge. Making sure every time we step forward and back, that whatever leg is stepping or whatever leg is in front, that knee stays right in line with our middle toes. Let's go ahead and switch sides. You always have that option to take that challenge, float the foot off the floor, it stays off the floor. You can always add that little bit of support by touching the toe in between each rep. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, last time at our bear squat into our plank. Setting yourself up in that high plank with your shoulders right over your hands. We push the hips back. And I'm trying to keep my back nice and parallel to the floor, so I'm not letting my hips hike too far up. And remember, you always have that option. If you need a little moment, drop the knees back and down. Take a little bit more of a child's pose. Almost there, last 2 reps. 3, 2, and 1. All right, last one in our first circuit. We flip over onto our backs. We get into our bridges for the last time. Here we go. And And just a reminder, we are focusing on the lower body, on the glutes and the hamstrings with each rep, but making sure we keep our core active so we're not bridging too far up to where we're feeling this in our low back. Just a few more reps at this one. Stick to your breath, that exhale every time the hips bridge up. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, awesome job, y'all. Grab that sip of water, give yourself a little moment to catch your breath, and we will get into our second circuit. All right, so for our second circuit, we're gonna start with a single arm deadlift. Remember that good morning we did? We have a hip hinge. So we'll hold onto one dumbbell, feet are about shoulder width apart, and then we go ahead and take that bell, we trace the front of our leg as we push the hips back. You wanna end at about mid-shin or just past the knee to where you feel that stretch in the hamstrings, and then we go ahead and come up to stand. Eyes look down to the floor so we don't get this one into the low back. And bring the breath back in. Inhale, hinge. Exhale, stand. We'll go ahead and switch sides. That dumbbell just traces the front of the leg. You can have a light bend in the knees at that bottom position. And we think about 2 to 3 seconds every time we push the hips back. Up in 1. Here for 3, 2, and 1. Next, we have a goblet squat with a pulse. So if you're using a dumbbell, we hold it at the chest. You can use a household item. Heavy water bottle, we hold it here, feet are shoulder width apart. We sink down into our squat. We go for a pulse, so about an inch up, an inch down, and then push to the heels, coming up to stand. So with each rep, we sink down, we pause for a moment, pulse up, pulse down, and up. Once you get in the groove of it, you can take it a little bit faster. Really building tension here every time we pulse. And just making sure we're pushing through the heels, so we're not letting the heels come up off the floor at the bottom of our squats. If you've got a moment, you can also check your knees, make sure they're staying right over your middle toes, just tracking forward. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, go ahead and drop the weight if you're using one, and we take a side plank leg raise. So you can be down on the hand or on the forearm, whatever you choose. Hips stacked out right on top of each other. Your top leg is just gonna raise about 6 inches and then bring it back down. Think about lifting through your hips and through your obliques for that strong side plank. We raise, we lower. You'll feel that outer glute really working every time we lift the leg. You have an option here if you'd like a little bit more support. Just drop that knee down to the floor and we take that lift and that lower. Don't forget to switch sides at halfway. Just breathe, your core is gonna be working, glutes are gonna be working. Press that forearm or that hand into the floor, away from the floor for 3, 2, 1. All right, and those are our 3. Let's get started back to the top with that single arm deadlift. Grabbing onto your weights. Make sure your feet are stacked right under your shoulders. Push the hips back. Big breath out to come up. So our range of motion for this one, you should only be going as far to where you feel that light stretch in the hamstrings, backs of the legs. It's about there for me, just past my knee. I'm gonna go ahead and switch. And with the weight on one side, you wanna think about coming straight down as opposed to pouring your weight into one side. That is the challenge with this one. For 3, 2, 1. We're into our squat. You can set the weight down or your object if you need a little bit of a break in between. And then we get set up. Here we go, in 2, 1. Now that we've done this one round, you can start to pick up the pace if you're feeling good. You always have that option to take out that pulse if that's quite a lot for you, and just stick to a goblet squat. And making sure at the bottom of that squat, we're not rounding the shoulders forward. If you had a logo on your shirt and a mirror in front of you, you'd want to be able to see that logo. Here for 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back into that side plank. Remember what variation you took, pick your option that works for you, one that's gonna challenge you and be the best for you today. I'll take it from a forearm today. So that leg lift does not need to be super high. You wanna lift about 6 to 12 inches where your hips are not lowering, so you wanna keep those hips raised. Great, and then we'll go ahead and switch sides. And we also have that option to pop the knee down for that support on your side plank. For 3, 2, and 1. All right, little rest. We're gonna go through that all one more time. Shake it out, do whatever you need, and we'll get into our deadlift. Grabbing onto your equipment. Here we go, make sure those feet are in line with the shoulders. And bring it back to your breath. Think about stamping the heels into the floor and engaging your glutes at the top of each rep. And not letting your shoulders round forward. Go ahead and switch sides as well. Every time we hinge, notice how my shoulder's not rounding forward. I keep my shoulders squared off to the floor. Let's try to get 2 more in. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna set that down. Give my upper back a little break, give my legs a little shake out. Got 2 more exercises. Let's get into our squat with a pulse. In 3, 2, and 1. So making sure again that as we sink down into the squat, our knees are tracking right over our middle toes and all 10 toes are facing forward. And I know we might be moving a little bit quicker with this one, so bring it back to your breath. That exhale every time you stamp through the heels and come up to stand. Three, 2, and 1. All right, last time at our side plank, last 40 seconds till we get to cool it down. We got this. Let's do it. Setting up in our plank in 3, 2, and 1. Remember, lifting from the hips through the obliques. Your top arm can be up, it can be down, whatever support you need. And then we go ahead and we raise and we lower that top leg. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. Nice job, y'all. Strong finish. For 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Awesome, awesome work, everyone. Let's take a little moment to just cool it down. If you need a sip of water, grab that now. And you just meet me seated. We'll take a figure 4 stretch from here. One ankle is gonna cross over the top of the opposite knee, does not matter which side. And then pull that foot back, heel plants into the floor. The closer the leg is towards you, a little bit more of a stretch you'll get into your glutes. You can add a little sway side to side. And just focus on breath. Bringing it back down. And then we'll go ahead and switch. Opposite ankle crosses over the top of that knee. Step the foot in. Go ahead and take that side to side. For 3, 2, and 1. We'll roll onto our backs. We'll get into a bit of a hamstring stretch now. Lots of hinging today. So kick the leg up. You can grab behind the hamstring or onto the calf, never on the knee joint. Just hold it here. You can add a flex and point in the foot or a circling of the ankle. Maybe you tug it in a little closer. And then we go ahead and switch other side. Again, back of the hamstring, back of the calf. You can add that flex and point. Tug it in a little closer one more time. Great, and then hug onto your knees for a moment, a little sway side to side. We'll rock ourselves up through to a downward dog. Just get a little bit more mobility for the backs of the legs, for the upper body. Pedal out in the heels. And then we will slowly walk the hands back to the feet. Take that breath out of the top and shake it out. Awesome, awesome work, everyone. Again, that was my lower body HIIT. You can do this one body weight or with whatever equipment you have available to you. This is Good Moves with Well+Good. If you would like more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe below. I'll see you next time.